Talk about this course that's going to be coming up.
The course that's coming up is a specialized course. It's a course that addresses church security. Basically, the course is entitled Church Security Application and Theory for Making Your House of Worship Safer. In the last just statistical review, there have been, since from 99 to 2014, there have been 88 church shootings all over the country. And most of these shootings occur in a sanctuary and during the time of the service. We do, in our church, I do church security. 28 years of law enforcement experience. I was crime prevention. Now I'm the accreditation manager and Homeland Security Officer here for Berkeley County Sheriff's Office. So I was asked to submit a lesson plan on this, and I did to the director of the Department of Personnel Enrichment and Special Projects and the Division of Continuing Education and Economic Development. And so what we're doing, we're going to do a series of classes, 8 hours. Now this could have been a little longer because this is a really in-depth subject. And the time, churches are soft targets for terrorists. I do counterterrorism, anti-terrorism. And it's something to think that churches, when you talk about terrorism, you think about now ISIS, Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda, so on. But churches now are on the list of soft targets for terrorists. And a soft target is something that is not, there's not a lot of security there and so on and so forth. And it's easy for people to go in and rob and steal. And different things happen where if there's not a police presence at the church, many people can be harmed or hurt during a service. If somebody has going through divorce, going through some kind of marital disagreement, churches are soft targets for robberies. There was a movie that came out a while back called First Sunday. And what it did, it was depicted as a comedy, but it showed you to rob the church on First Sundays. And there are a lot of people out there that when they see stuff on television, they're copycats. Or when they hear it in the news, they copycat. So then First Sunday is the Sunday that most people go to church. The most money's at the church. Locally, we have had churches robbed and at gunpoint. Immaculate Conception back in 2009. Was robbed, if I believe it was in Goose Creek, of $10,000. Back a while back, a Wednesday night service, church in Goose Creek, United Methodist. This guy comes in with a shotgun, and they were during a choir rehearsal. Everybody's on the floor, and he robs them, and he escapes. So these are areas that we don't really think about that are very important because we are a people. This is the Bible Belt right here in this Tri-County area is the Bible Belt and of Christians and other different faiths. Well, these faiths or these Christians or these sanctuaries are soft targets because they don't have a continuous police presence or any type of security. Some have cameras and so on, but a camera, if you can have a gunman come in your church or someone that comes in to do harm to somebody else and there are innocent bystanders there, a camera cannot do anything to save those lives. So what we do out at our arranged facility, we teach church security. And even though what we are teaching at Trident is going to be basically a theory with some application, we do we set up churches out there. We set up the church. We do an assessment of the church, we look at it, and we let the people who is the security team come out and go through a different scenario, either at the range or either at their church. And we help them find blind spots and places where people would try to come in. And I've heard people say, well, we have a police presence outside. Well, they have distractors. While these officers are distracted outside, something else can be going on inside. And to have somebody inside, in this class, we're going to cover several things. We're going to review ministries in the midst of violence. a statistical review from 99 to 2014 about the different shootings, the location, the time, how many people were wounded, how many people were killed. 103 people killed, 16 of them pastors. The ages of the suspects, the ages of the victims, the type of weapons used, and how the weapon was concealed and how the situation ended. We're going to talk about and show a comprehensive presentation, the various assaults on houses of worship. Like in Arvada, John Hagee testifies that he was shot at 6 times in his pulpit, and now he has security. T.D. Jakes, and the size of the church is important. It doesn't matter if it's small or large, because it's vulnerable, and this is what we want them to see. And it's not getting people afraid or whatever. It's trying to prepare them, not to put them in a paranoid, but to prepare them for something that's further down the road. We are a people in the United States, basically, we act on things after they happen, instead of making preparation for things to happen before they happen. We are reactive more than proactive in a lot of things. We're going to talk about conclusions drawn from these active shooter assault incidents. We're going to discuss the general precepts of executive or dignitary protection. I myself am a minister, but my pastor, he reaches more people than I do. So my job is to protect him. We have safe rooms in our church. Our first lady or his wife is a judge, and we watch, because when cases go on, a lot of time cases don't end in the courtroom. People have vendettas or what have you, and the church being an open place, they can come there and assault people. We're going to talk about the security team, the mindset of a security team, recognizing the threat, and discuss and understand why a house of worship should have a practical zone defense, and so on. Risk assessment. We're going to talk about the law and self-defense of others and deadly force in South Carolina. We have also included a church template, which for SOP, that's an operating procedure, standard operating procedure that you could use to set up their church training team. And then in the appendix, we have a lot of other figures and things that would bring to light some of the things that are happening and how we could avert these things from happening.
Now, I know in Berkeley County, I've covered this a lot. There's been a lot of church burglaries and thefts.
Right.
Have you noticed outside of the sheriff's office with the training that you do that a lot of churches have been interested in learning how to protect their churches more?
We haven't. I think they get cameras and things of this such, and they if they're sharp, they get the serial numbers and things of their instruments and their equipment. And the thing about it also, they need to record these things, because if a report is made of a burglary or what have you, these things can be retained. They can get them back if they're pawned or sold and so on and so forth like that, because they have an ID number.
And for people who are interested in signing up for the class that's going to be taking place, how do they do that?
All they have to do is contact the Continuing Education Division at Trident Technical College. This is going to be at the main campus. And it's a probability that it's going to go out to some of the other campuses, like the campus here at Berkeley, and so on. Right now we have scheduled 3 classes. These sessions are small and short. They're 8-hour blocks. They run from 6 o'clock to 10 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now I know it's a football night on Thursday nights, so that's why we're only running them once a month. We're running them starting in September, October, and November. And the September class is starting on the 16th, and the first part, and then the second part of it, of the 4-hour block, is on the 18th.
Now, is there a special registration where they have to, like, can they go online, or who they contact?
They can go online and register for the class. It's called, it's the Church Security Application in Theory for making your house of worship safe.
And is there a deadline to sign up?
For the sign up. I would imagine that maybe the 12th for the 16th, probably the 15th, the day before it. And like we're going to have 3 to start off with, and we've already scheduled some for next year also, for I believe it's April, May, March, April, and May, and also.
And anything else you think is worth mentioning about just church security and what your experience has been like with
We
teaching
have
that?
had, let me just share this with you. We've had people that have come up into the church. We're our children's church. We had security there. This guy just comes in off the street, and he goes in, and the officer, well, the security person, he asks him, well, how can we help you, and so on and so forth. There are guys that had come walking through the parking lot, you know, looking in the cars and then walk into the church. Something happened in California. There was a shooting when these guys came into the church with hoodies on. They looked at the people that they wanted to engage, came back outside and came in again. And a lot of, from what the papers say, they said that these guys with hoods came in and they shot them. These 2 guys, and they left the church. A lot of times, people, and we love all of our children and we want to keep them safe, but sometimes parents don't know who their children are dealing with. And so if you have somebody that's dealing with something that's, say for instance, drugs or what have you, and the parent don't know it, and they want to come to the church, if they can't shoot them at the house, or they can't engage them at the house or on the road, the church is wide open. And, you know, people will welcome them in, and next thing you know, somebody's shot. And this is what happened. These guys came in with hoodies on, they looked and saw who they wanted, and they went back out and came back in, shot them, and left. And this was in a Church of God in Christ in California. And I do a lot of research on this because this is something, being also a minister, I'm a minister also, and we want to keep our people safe. We want to keep our pastors safe.